Good morning, one and all. Welcome to my today's English class. I shall start with first year PUC, first lesson of English, The Gentleman of the Jungle, written by Jomo Kenyatta. This lesson, The Gentleman of the Jungle, is written by the author Jomo Kenyatta. The author of this lesson is Jomo Kenyatta. He was an African political leader. He was an African political leader and the first president of Kenya. He was a kikuyu, that is a community or a tribe of Kenya. He was one of the earliest and the best known African nationalist leaders. So this is all about the author. Coming to the pre-reading activity, we see that there are many Panchatantra stories which have a good moral. Here, a story where good prevails over the evil is said to be narrated. In this story, there is the moral is that the good prevails over the evil. Always the good wins. A story with a moral is said to be a fable. What is a fable? A fable is a short story with a moral, like the Panchatantra stories or the Aesop's fables. So a story with a moral is called a fable. So this present lesson, The Gentleman of the Jungle, is a fable. Coming to the background of the lesson, the late 19th century has been mentioned here. It was then in the 19th century that the chief European powers had divided Africa among themselves. They were superior and the Africans signed the treaties without understanding the terms. Hence the Africans had lost their lands where they lived and cultivated. Here in this story, the attitude of the Europeans is made clear. The present story reflects the attitude of the Kikuyu tribe of Kenya towards the European laws. These Europeans occupied Kenya and they snatched away the land wherein the people lived there. From the people who lived there, they snatched away the land and they occupied it, the Europeans. So let's begin the lesson. On page number 2, you can see that once upon a time there lived an elephant. It made a friendship with a man. This is a story. There is a friendship between the elephant and a man. One day there was heavy rain, that is thunderstorm. They have mentioned the word thunderstorm in the lesson. One day there was heavy rain. The elephant went to his friend who had a little hut, who had a small hut at the edge of the forest. So he requested his friend to allow him to put his trunk. The elephant has a long trunk. So the elephant requested his friend, shall I put my trunk in your hut? Because it is raining very heavily. So he requested his friend to allow him to put his trunk inside the hut as there was heavy rain. The man, that is a friend of the elephant, said that his hut was very small, but he could give him so much space for his trunk. So the man said that his hut was very small, but he can give his, as the elephant is his friend, he can give him some space in this little hut to put his trunk. He said, though my hut is small, it will be enough for me and your trunk, not you, not the whole elephant, only the trunk of the elephant. The elephant thanked his friend and said that he would return this kindness one day. Because the man had helped the elephant also said, I shall be thankful to you and one day I shall show this kindness to you. I shall return your kindness. Even I shall show kindness to you one day. Okay, the man agreed and the elephant put its trunk in the little hut of the man. But see what happened. Once the man allowed the elephant to put the trunk, the elephant slowly began to move inside the hut. and finally threw out the man out of the hut. It was a man's hut. He allowed him to put the elephant, his trunk, inside his hut. Now the whole elephant entered and he threw out the man. The man was out in rain. The elephant stayed inside the hut. And in turn he told the man, your skin is harder and that you can afford to stay in rain. My skin, the elephant said, my skin is soft, your skin is hard, and you can stay in rain, but I cannot stay. That is what the elephant told the man. The elephant said that there was no place for man inside the hut. Whose hut it was? Man's hut. But now elephant entered, took the help, entered the hut, and it pushed away the man outside. And the elephant told the man, see, this hut is sufficient only for me. You cannot remain inside here. Now the man began to complain about the elephant. The other animals in the nearby forest heard the noise and they came to see what had happened there, why there was so much of noise. All the animals gathered and they heard the hot discussion, that is argument between the man and the elephant. In this confusion, that is turmoil is the word used there. In this confusion, the lion came roaring. Lion is the king of the forest. He came roaring in a loud voice and said, who is that disturbing the peace of the jungle? And who is that making so much of noise and disturbing the king of the jungle? So, hearing the lion's voice, the elephant said in a soothing voice, smooth voice, he said, my lord, there is no disturbance of peace. What elephant said? There is no disturbance of peace. The elephant further said that there was a little discussion going on regarding the possession of the hut he was occupying. So the elephant told the lion there was only a hot discussion which was going on regarding the possession of the hut, who was staying in the hut. This elephant who is mentioned here, he was one of the ministers of the jungle. He was one of the ministers of the jungle, honorable ministers of the jungle he was. The lion, coming to page number 3, the lion wanted to have peace in his kingdom. He asked his ministers, the other ministers. Elephant was one of the honorable ministers. He asked his other ministers to appoint a commission of inquiry. And that the commission had to go through the matter and prepare a report and give their decision. The lion then told the man that he had done a good thing by making friendship with the elephant. That too with the elephant, who was one of the honorable ministers of the state. The lion told the man not to grumble and to wait till the sitting of imperial commission. There he could state his case. This is what the lion told the man. The man believed the sweet words of the lion and waited innocently for his opportunity to prove his case. The elephant obeyed the orders of the king of the jungle, that is the lion, and with the help of other ministers, he set up a commission of inquiry. Who all were there in this commission of inquiry? Mr. Rhinoceros, Mr. Buffalo, Mr. Alligator, the Right Honorable Mr. Fox, who was said to be the chairman of the commission, and there was Mr. Leopard, he was the secretary of the commission. So these were the members of the commission. The man said, was it not necessary to include somebody from his side? All the animals said that there is nobody from your side who is much educated, and that none from your side can understand the complexity of the jungle laws. Clever animals. The man was further told that all members of the commission stood for justice and that there would be no impartiality in justice. So all the animals told the man, there will be no impartiality, you don't worry. We cannot take anyone from your side because nobody is so much educated. Nobody will understand the complexity of the jungle laws. Then further the man was told, the members of the commission are all gentlemen chosen by God to look after the interest of the race, which was endowed means provided, with the teeth and claws. Teeth and claws is an idiom which means to fight. So he said, whenever there is fight, these are the people who come and settle the things. So you don't worry, there will be no impartiality. The members of the commission would investigate the matter with great care and report without being impartial. So this was what all the animals told the man. The commission was all set. The Right Honorable Mr. Elephant was called. He was one of the ministers. He was called first. The elephant came brushing his tusk with a sapling which his wife had given him. Mrs. Elephant had given him. And the elephant said in authoritative voice that there was no need for the gentlemen of the jungle to spend much time, as they knew what had happened between him and the man. He said there was just a misunderstanding between the elephant and the man. The elephant told the commission. The elephant said that his friend, the man, had called him for help to save his hut blowing away from the strong winds and rain. That is, there was a hurricane. The strong wind and rain, there was a hurricane, and the hut of the man would flow away due to the heavy wind. So he called me for help. And that is why the elephant had come there to help his friend, the man. He had occupied the hut only because it should not fly away due to the wind. So that is what the elephant pleaded in front of the commission members. That is, before the leopard, before the rhinoceros, before the alligator, the buffalo. These were the commission members. So before all of them, elephant pleaded that he had come there to help the man, and because it should not fly away, because it should not fly away, the hut should not fly away. And even in the rain, it should not get flowed. That's why he was occupying the hut. After hearing the Right Honorable Mr. Elephant, his elephant's evidence, the commission called Mr. Hyena and the other elders of the jungle. All of them supported the elephant. Naturally, all the animals are going to support the elephant. Then the man was called. He began to say his story. The commission, the members of the commission asked him to cut short the story. They told him to mention only the relevant issues. They said they had collected information from various unbiased sources. Means they did not favor anybody. They treated each and everyone equally. They only asked him if his hut was occupied by anyone else before the elephant took his possession. The man said, no, but the man still wanted to say something, but the commission members stopped him from saying. The commission said that they heard the relevant issues and came to a conclusion, that is, they all had finally made a decision of this particular case. The members had a delicious meal arranged by the Honorable Mr. Elephant. So there was a meal which was arranged by elephant. So they had delicious meal, and now they all sat to read the decision. What was the decision? The members said. They said that in their opinion, the dispute had arisen between the man and the elephant only because of the misunderstanding and backwardness thinking of man. It was because of misunderstanding and backwardness thinking of man. They said that elephant has done his duty of protecting the man and his hut. And they said that it was for your good that elephant helped you. If elephant had not done so, then the hut would never expand. It would be small only. They further said that elephant shall continue to stay there in that hut. And they told the man that they would give him permission to search for another site. See the decision of the commission members. They told him, you search some other site and you build your hut there. As per your needs, you can build your hut. We will permit you to do that. And they said that we will protect you. We are there to protect you, but you see another site and you can build your hut there. This hut you have to give to the elephant. So this was the decision of the commission members. That hut was given to the elephant, and they told the man to search some new area so that he can build his hut there. The man had no other alternative. Poor man, he had no other way. He agreed to the decision of the commission, and as it was suggested by all the members, he began to search for a new area to build his hut. Coming to page number 6, the man soon built his hut, another hut. He built another hut. See now what happens. Now Mr. Rhinoceros came and tried to occupy this new hut. Mr. Rhinoceros charged in with his horns and ordered the man to quit. Again the Royal Commission was appointed to look into the matter. Earlier how the Royal Commission was appointed when the elephant had occupied the man's hut. Now again the Rhinoceros has occupied the man's hut. Again the commission is being appointed. We know what the decision will be. The commission was appointed to look into the matter, and the same findings were given. Now again the man had to give his hut to Mr. Rhinoceros. This same procedure repeated until Mr. Buffalo, Mr. Leopard, Mr. Hyena and the rest of the animals of the jungle were accommodated with new huts. Poor man went on building new hut and it was being occupied by someone else. So in this way, the man went on building new huts and it was occupied by the other animals. The man was fed up of all this. He thought he must adopt some new method of protection. He knew that commission of enquiry would be of no use to him. He now thought of a new plan. He said, there is nothing that treads on the earth that cannot be trapped. So if we think wisely, we can find out a solution. In other words, you can fool people for a time, but not forever. So this is what he thought. Days passed on and all the huts were occupied by the jungle lords. The huts which were occupied by the jungle lords, they began to decay and fall into pieces. As time passed, the huts which the animals, other animals had occupied, they all began to decay and fall into pieces. On the other side, we could see that the man had built a big hut. The man had built a big hut, a bigger hut than earlier, a little distance away. No sooner did the rhinoceros see the man's hut, he began to rush in. So this rhinoceros saw the man's hut built there. So he ran there to enter that hut because his hut was falling now. When he went there, when the rhinoceros went there, he saw that the elephant was already there inside, sound asleep. Mr. Leopard next came at the window. Mr. Lion, Mr. Fox, Mr. Buffalo, all of them entered the doors of that new bigger hut. Mr. Hyena howled. An alligator basked on the roof. To bask is to sit in a warm place. All these animals started arguing and a dispute began. Dispute is a fight. A fight began between the animals. What was the fight about? It was about who entered this hut first, who penetrated, passed in the hut first, who came inside the hut first. There was an argument, there was a big fight which was going on between the animals. While the animals were all fighting inside the big hut, the man set the hut on fire and burnt it to ground. All the animals died. He then went home saying, Peace is costly, but it's worth the expense. Peace is costly, but it's worth the expense. He then lived happily ever after. The man seems to say that though he had to build a bigger hut, though he had to kill the animals, he still did it as peace was needed. So peace is costly but worth it. Here we see how man was vacated from his own hut, how other animals occupied his hut. In the same way, the Europeans had occupied the land of the Africans. They pushed the Africans away and occupied their place, as in this story, the man was pushed out from his hut and the other animals had occupied his hut. So this is what the author wants to depict through the small story. Hope you all have understood the lesson, children. If you have understood this lesson, do share and subscribe. Thank you.